Hello everyone. Sorry a little bit for the different setup today. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, I've been recovering from surgery. So beginning of April, everything should be at 100%. And this week, I've been traveling in business. Next week I will still be traveling for business. But then, in any case, I asked you guys if you'd like to see if you'd like to see a live stream in the meantime, and most of you said yes, so here I am today. I hope you guys are doing very well. Let me know if you can hear me well. Don't forget, drop that like and subscribe. As you know, that greatly helps the channel. So thank you very much for your support once again. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm just looking here at something. Okay, that's good. Oh, thank you, Abdul. I just see that your comment. No, I'm doing fine, by the way. Just to give an update on that surgery. So surgery went very well. I'm recovering very, very well. So all of it is perfect. It's just that it takes some time, and it takes a bit of extra time than I thought initially. And also, since I'm traveling for business and for work quite a lot this week and the next, it just makes it a bit harder, for me to really, be in my full outfit, full-fledged, doing everything well. In any case, here I am, and that's what matters. So maybe we can start with the Fed's meeting that happened yesterday. So if you guys recall, in the beginning of the year, I told you the only thing that matters, in my view, for the two things that I'm looking for in the point of view of a bit more macro trend is, will the Fed signal stopping quantitative tightening? For those of you who doesn't know who that means, QT is basically when they sell treasuries from the balance sheet. By selling treasuries, that pushes the yields higher, which means yields higher, bond market goes down, so stocks and every other markets go down. Now, why do all other markets go down? Very simple. All the other markets are a derivative of the bond market. So the bond market is bigger than the stock market, commodities, and crypto all combined. And in fact, you need to add about half of the world's real estate to really get to the bond market. So that's how important it is. And what did the Fed did yesterday or 2 days ago? They basically signaled stop QT. So once again, as I've mentioned, that's all that matters. This is the key when you're looking at these, at the financial world. You see, you need to understand that, news outlets, YouTube, the media in general, they need to create content every day. So they will look at the most random of reports, the most useless of things, just to justify, people clicking on it. And the key is to know what you're looking for before that thing actually happens. Understand the big dynamics is much more important than, this manufacturing PMI is down 10%. Maybe, who cares? At the end of the day, and who cares? Of course, for the real economy, that has a big impact, but we all know that the real economy and the stock market have very little to do with each other. So what did I say in the beginning of the year? Wait for the Fed to signal stopping QT. Check. What happens to stocks and everything? Went straight up. Okay, exactly. Russell is now at 2,100. I think we're going to see new all-time highs on that index as well. By when is a bit harder to say, but I do think it will be coming. The next thing that I'm looking for 2024, and I've told you this before, is the impact of AI. So I want to see those productivity reports really going, strongly into the bigger. Oh, sorry, 001. I will address that in a sec. We'll discuss in a little bit. Just 1 second. So the second thing that I want to see the big productivity increases in terms of work, and I'll tell you why. The way that the debt is structured, so you see, the inflation no longer matters, and the reason is The Fed has reached the same conclusion that I did, which is you have a $34 trillion debt, you have $2 trillion budget deficits per year, and you have $1 trillion trade deficits per year, which needs to be borrowed into existence. If the rates keep as high as they are by 2028 or something, what's going to happen is about 2/3 of the tax revenue will just be used to pay off the interest, not even the principal, just interest on the debt. So the Fed has reached the same conclusion. So they are hell-bent into cutting rates, and they will cut rates regardless of whatever the inflation says. It's very simple. If they say something like, oh yeah, we've updated our models for the new economy, and with the new economy, actually inflation at 3% is better than at 2%. They just need to say something, some BS like this, and all of a sudden, what matters is the 3%, and nobody cares about the 2% anymore, and that's it, and we move on. Now, they will cut rates, and the funny part is when they cut rates, because that's a cost for the economy, it's the cost of financing that companies then pass on to people like you and me. If you lower that cost, then they don't need to pass it on, which means that will probably contribute to the decrease of inflation into the 2% handle, and then everything is well with the world. So stocks keep remaining, they are still extremely strong. We do have sell-offs. I do believe that the Fed has pretty much taken out the risk of the stock market now. To be very clear, does that mean that stocks can never go down? They will always go up. There's not going to be 20% or 30% sell-offs. No, sure. You're going to have 20, 30% sell-offs. For sure. But they won't last long. Just like, this time around. You go down 30% in 1 year, give it 1 year and a half, and you're back to new all-time highs. And this is just how as long as they keep debasing the currency, this will keep on happening. And debasement of currency is different than inflation per se. Okay, so inflation is you go to supermarket, this thing cost $1, now costs $1.20. Okay, that's inflation. Debasement of currency is 40 years ago, if you saved 2 years of your income, you would get an house. But now you need 10 years of your income. That's debasement of currency. In the past, you could buy the S&P very cheaply, but now the S&P is very expensive. That is debasement of currency. So that debasement will keep on happening as long as the governments basically spend, have these brutal deficits. The only way to keep up with it is to have zero to even negative interest rates into the future. Now, I do think AI will be a great achievement for mankind, and indeed productivity will raise through the roof, which hopefully will help combat some of the issues that we've been in. However, I still have the feeling that once we start, growing dramatically with AI, the governments will find a way to keep on the money printing machine going, and eventually the currencies will continue on losing value as they've been over the years. Some faster, some slower. At the end of the day, they all go through the same direction. Now, moving into crypto, Bitcoin sold off into the 60K handle. As I mentioned, we hit 65, we then went up, but it didn't hold. So we went down. I wouldn't be surprised if people are front-running the halving sell-off. There's been a few things being front-run this cycle, such as, number one, the Bitcoin price is way higher than it should be. So in terms of timing, it's all matching up nicely, but in terms of price, it's much higher than it should be. So people are front-running the price of Bitcoin. Number two, meme coin mania should come later in the cycle, and it already partially came, with the Pepe ecosystem, with Wolf and with Andy, with Brett, and with Pepe itself. So at the same time, we front-ran a little bit the meme coin mania. Can we be front-running the halving sell-off? It's a little bit 50-50 at the moment, okay? So it's not easy to say. I could easily see us go to 80K, have the typical 38% sell-off, go to between 48 and 52K, which was the breakout area, find support there, and then moving higher into the real bull market. So I would see that easily happening. So now addressing 001 comment. Sorry for taking a little bit of time to get there. ICOSA wrecked, Pulse chain hold wrecked. All new retail get better prices than we get. That grind and buying hold 2023. Fucking disappointing. So it is true that the Pulse chain ecosystem has been disappointing in many respects. For those of you who don't know, X on Ethereum is pretty much non-existent, which means Hydron and ICOSA, which are leverage on X on Ethereum, mean very little at the moment. Although I would like to say that since everybody is now in such agreement that X on Ethereum has no value, that it kind of makes me a little bit bullish upon it, just from a contrarian perspective. Now, am I saying that I should, sell everything that I have and go all in X on Ethereum? Of course not. Of course not. In my view, it became a lottery play. Now, what happened to me, and I can only talk about myself, is that I was involved in the ecosystem prior to Pulse Chain launching, which means that I got the coins on the Ethereum network, of course, but also on the Pulse Chain network. So I never had to play the little game of picking winners in that sense, because I had both. So I didn't need to make that choice. However, for new people coming into the system, I saw a lot of streamers talking about how X on Ethereum was going to outperform everything because it was, what was it, like real estate in Manhattan. I mean, to me, it was so stupid, because I was here for the last bull market. So I saw the Ethereum gas fees going to, $1,000 a swap on Uniswap, $1,000. I mean, it became completely the whale game. I mean, only the whales could move at some point, because, average people cannot go and drop $1,000 in gas fees. I mean, it's completely crazy. So, and particularly when you were trying to end stakes on X, etc., I've seen some people paying like $5,000 to end the stake. I mean, it's completely crazy. So Pulse Chain was created to alleviate some of the stress in the Ethereum network, and to basically, have Exicans, basically ending their stakes without paying thousands of dollars in fees. So there was the point of it. So to me, it never made any sense in the world. Why would you tell new people who didn't have the copies on Pulse Chain like I had, oh yeah, just buy the X on Ethereum because it's better? I said, but it's better, why? I mean, but because it's easier to have access to, and say, okay, so people should just pay $500 per swap because it's slightly easier. I mean, you only need to do a bridge transaction, right? It's not the end of the world. Now, there's one thing that needs to be said. Once Richard nukes the X on Ethereum price, of course, the X on Pulse Chain loses some humph, right? And also, there's something that we need to say. Hey, what's up, Kaza? There's something that we need to say, which is layer 1 chains, DeFi staking. These are all cycle 1, previous cycle narratives. Now, because these are cycle 2 narratives, and for the most part, cycle 1 coins, we should still do very well. Now, the only difference is that our pumps come a bit later in the cycle. So they come tilted mostly towards the end of the cycle. And, people are speculating that the Sacrifice wallet will buy coins like crazy, which is perfectly possible. I think the best thing that could happen, there are two things that could happen to Pulse Chain. So, okay, let me go back a little bit. I think the coins, X, Pulse Chain, PulseX, Hydron, and ICOSA will do very well in this cycle. Okay, but what I've been saying, and I think for those of you who've been following me for a bit longer, is that I've positioned myself in a way that I don't need 1,000x to succeed. I don't need 500x to succeed. If I get a 50x or a 75x, on the overall coins, it doesn't need to be per coin, I'm saying overall coins, I will be very, very well. So, for example, if you ask me, let's say I have $10 million, would I venture that much capital percentage-wise into altcoins? No. If I have something like 10 million and I know the cycles of Bitcoin extremely well, and I know that I'm going to get a 3x, 4x, 5x on Bitcoin, if you have $10 million, is more than enough, in my view. You don't need to take all the pain of altcoins or all the risk of altcoins. You don't need it. So what I tried to do was, I wanted a project in which returns would be very good. I mean, compared to the stock market, extremely good. But I positioned myself during the bear market in a way that I don't need 1000x. There's a lot of people who dropped 1,000 euros and they're expecting to have $1 million, in like 18 months. I mean, look, sure it can happen, but you need to understand, you're talking about cycle 2 narratives, and I was looking for something with no VCs, deflationary, proven technology, founder that doesn't sell, community which is like a cult. So these were the things that I'm looking for. So if you ask me today, do I think that PulseChain, PulseX, either on Icosa will do a 50 to 100x? I think so. Can I guarantee it? No, of course I cannot guarantee it. I mean, it'd be crazy on my behalf. What can I say? I mean, I consider it my retirement bags that are by far my biggest bags, by far. But I position myself in a way that if I get a 50x, I'm already extremely well. Probably I will be able to retire. So that was my point, to position myself that way. And what I said, if you go back to my videos back in 2023, I said I'll be very carefully looking into potential narratives for cycle 1 coins and narratives for this cycle that you only come across when you're in the cycle. It's not possible to predict ahead of time, dog with a hat, frog coins. These are things you don't predict in 2020, for example. You need to go through the cycle. You know that's going to be some sort of AI coins. AI coins do very well because NVIDIA did very well. I'm transferring focus on base chain. I think it's the next Solana. Oh, I need the 500x. Yeah, that was my point. So for me, the retirement bags, I position myself in a way that I don't need those exorbitant returns. And now they may happen. I mean, make no mistake about it. I mean, the sacrifice wallets bought a lot of Ethereum because I think they are playing for the Ethereum ETF, and I do believe Ethereum should go to at least 15K this cycle, 15,000, which means if those profits get reverted into buying the coins in PulseChain, I mean, they will do spectacularly well. Now, and people say, oh yeah, but that means that you're depending on Richard to buy, blah, blah. No, I'm saying that is an extra. I do think one of the most important things that PulseChain needs is a centralized exchange, because I think people just love the convenience store. So, I mean, if I unfortunately, the world of exchanges, I don't know if you know this, but the way that you get your coins on Coinbase, on Binance, on KuCoin, in all of these places, is you go to them, you pay them $1 million. Essentially, you, between brackets, you bribe them. And then you get your coins listed. Now, Richard was always against, doing these people any favors, but, it's up to him if he wants his projects to be more disseminated. Now, there's something that's happening, and I will talk a little bit about my lottery tickets a bit later, that I think will be very helpful. But typically what happens, just to be very clear so people understand, is layer 1, which is PulseChain, a decentralized exchange, which is PulseX. These are an X, which is DeFi staking. These are 2021 narratives. These are cycle 2 narratives with cycle 1 coins. That means that typically we do better, but at the end. And that's the play, and it can be very frustrating. That's why I've always been saying I've been looking at 2025. That's my target. 2025. Avoid the weekly movements, the daily movements, all of that. Now, if we move too fast, too high, maybe after the second half of 2024, I'm starting to look for top signals, for things that may be a top, such as Ethereum spot ETF coming, like let's say December 2024. Maybe a Binance IPO. 3 countries make Bitcoin reserve currency. Now the pension funds in Japan and all across Europe start buying Bitcoin. So these are all things that lead me to believe that it will create a huge euphoric phase, which every euphoric phase ends up with the beginning of the bear market. So it's important also to know when to get out. Do you know something about Monster Inc? I have this new coin lottery. We are waiting for 52. Yes. The good thing that I think is happening is that Richard is now refraining a little bit from buying too many of his own coins, because that will just serve as exit liquidity to some of these players. So we still need to rinse a little bit the weak hands, so we can just have the strong hands at the end. That is not uncommon, and particularly, as I said, what you see pumping is mostly cycle 1 narratives or chains which are embracing cycle 1 narratives, such as Solana, which is the meme coin king at the moment. No, I do not know that coin, Monster Inc. To be honest, man, there are like 30 coins per day coming out. It's impossible for me to know all of them. I mean, if you're looking at it as a lottery ticket, great. I think it's great. And actually, it's a good pivot for me. So basically, I have a few lottery tickets. I've been mentioning them. Most of them are doing well. A couple of them are not doing so well. So so let's start with the bad ones, because I always, you guys, for me, you always get the reality. You always get the truth. You always get the transparency. I'm not here... look at this coin that I picked 3 days ago and now it's up 300%, give me your money, right? I don't do any of that. You know me. So, one's doing not so great. Andy and Brett on Ethereum. I think I'm down somewhere between 60-70% on those. To be honest, they're my smallest plays, so I don't mind that much. I think Andy will still probably do well enough. Wolf, which is Wolf on Ethereum, that one is actually doing quite well. I think I'm up 250% or so, even after the sell-off. So I went in quite early. I've disclosed when I got in, I think probably 3-4 videos ago. Just check the first time that I mentioned it. I always let you guys know. Then Pikamoon, which is launching tomorrow, deflationary gaming token. The beta version of the game looks excellent. The pre-sale was a success. Marketing is doing very well. There's no VCs. Team is fully doxed. Developers worked on Fortnite and a few other famous games. And everything that they've been promising over about 18 months, because I've been following them for quite a bit of time, has happened. So they've done everything that I would like to see. I went in the pre-sale stage number 1 and 2. So for me, I will have a vesting period of partially 2 months and partially 1 month, because I bought the coins really at the cheapest possible price. There are some conversations that coin can hit $1 billion market cap. I mean, we will see. I hope so. I hope it's the next Axie Infinity or the next Sandbox. However, I do have some good feelings about that one. Is it more than a lottery ticket? No, it's not. So to me, very clear, when I have these lottery cycle 1 plays, I'm talking about different wallets, so they don't touch my core wallets. You never know if they have bad code in them, so they don't touch any of my main wallets. And small tickets. So if the whole thing goes up 100-fold, fine, great, very happy. If I lose $600, $700, $1,000, $500, fine. I'm I'm not going to go under the bridge, living under the bridge, and I don't need to sell my house and do all of this crazy stuff. No, it's if it goes very well, it's great. If it doesn't, it's good. And the peak immune community has actually been growing quite healthily. They seem very cultish, which is something that I say as a compliment. However, we will see with the first red candles. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a big pump tomorrow. So the coin is coming tomorrow at 2 p.m. UTC time. So you need to figure out wherever you live what time that is. They've already announced 3 exchange listings. They've been getting some very good coverage. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy anything on launch, Kaza. I think I have a good position at the size that I like. I want to see how really the hands are strong once we have our first 80% or 90% drawdown after the initial pump. That's what I want to see. But in any case, it's one of my favorite lottery tickets. The other one is Polspot. Polspot, which is the decentralized casino betting systems. I've gotten in during the sacrifice phase, which was a $5 per token. Last time I checked, it was around $10. So I had about a 2x over there. Project is working fine. It's all about volume. Tokens get burned by every game that is played. So far, community looks a little bit cultish. Founder always very active, and so far has delivered everything is promised. So cannot complain. At the moment, I'm happy. Price performance wise, I think it will be a good dark horse for the full bull market. Then, what else do I have? Oh, I have Gophers in Solana. So for those of you who don't know, Gophers is the most successful meme coin on Pulse Chain. And it also launched in Ethereum, also with great success, and it's now launching on Meme Coin Mania land in Solana. So I've participated for the Solana version. I did put a little bit more capital on that one because I've seen them launch in 2 chains very successfully. The founder is one of the most respected members in the community. So far, everything they've said has come to fruition. So I have a little bit more confidence. So my position on that one is a little bit higher. So it's about $2,000. It will launch tomorrow. I haven't seen the date yet, but I do believe it's tomorrow, but I don't know exactly the time. I think it's still not disclosed. So tomorrow is going to be a big day, of course. You have Pika Moon launching plus Gophers launching as well. And my final lottery ticket is Pulse Launch. Now, Pulse Launch actually launched on Tuesday. On Tuesday. And actually it had a decent price appreciation. I think it went as high as 0.5, so that was a 5x. Then it was sitting around 2x. But the launch has been quite a failure, to be honest. First of all, they couldn't airdrop all the tokens at the same time, and then they figured out that there was an issue in which some people sacrificed P-DAI, so the DAI on Pulse Chain, which is lower than $1, of course, and the whole thing was read as E-DAI, which is $1. So about $635,000 of extra tokens were distributed to people who sacrificed P-DAI. So they got, for them it was great, but hopefully they figured out the time, so they removed the liquidity, and they are relaunching it. Date still to be confirmed, but I think it's going to be somewhere probably either over the weekend or maybe early next week. Now, is this a great start? No, but it is the bull market. So we are coming into the bull market. So if the price appreciation is good over the next 2 months, but nobody will care about this. In fact, I've mentioned this. Wolf was a previous rug bull. It's a relaunching, and it's one of my top performers. So if the project does what it delivers, since we are in the bull market, all is forgiven and forgotten. And is it great? No. Is it professional? Not really. This is why it's called a lottery ticket. You see, I don't have the same confidence that I have, or the same expectations for that matter, that I have for my retirement packs. So this should serve as a very good example of why, I call it lottery tickets. I think the team is good in the sense that, it's legitimate and it's not trying to screw people. You have a few people doxed around the project. The project is going to be, in my view, extremely useful for the Pulse Chain ecosystem, because it's basically a launch pad. So it will help incubate and launch projects on Pulse Chain, which are, guess what, cycle 1 narratives, which is what you need. You need stuff with AI written on it. You need stuff in the dogs with heads. You need frog coins. You need, whatever the next narrative will be for this cycle. You need to be liquid JPEGs. I mean, who knows? Liquid NFTs. So you will need that to be launched on the Pulse chain in order to attract the usage. Why is Solana doing so much volume? Because why does it have so many millions of users? Because it is the king of meme coins. And meme coins have product market fit, no matter what people say. Let's hope our pick a ticket moon so we can get those funds on BTC or Ethereum for this bull run. I mean, personally speaking, my view, I would probably drop them in Ethereum. But sure, I mean, these are lottery tickets in the sense that these are cycle 1 narratives, and these are extremely powerful. So the key here to me is try to find something with a good probability to go up 1000x or 500x, from a very small investment. Then rotate a big portion into the retirement bags, and the other portion probably take some profit out, and hopefully even potentially taking out all my principal, because that way that way I will be purely risk-free, and you get in a much better space mentally. Now, sometimes you may get the impression from these videos that I'm like a machine, that I don't feel the stress, or that I don't feel the disappointment, or that I don't feel the concern. Of course I do. I do all of that. But that's why I force myself to spend hours and hours analyzing all these cycles. How did the previous did? What dates to look for? I mean, you'd be surprised how many times people, like, I'll give you this example. Millions of people have lost money on Bitcoin. Millions of people. Do you know how many people lost 1 penny if they held Bitcoin for 4 years or longer? Zero. Zero people ever lost 1 penny if they held Bitcoin for 4 years or longer. But millions of people lost money on Bitcoin. This just shows you that people cannot handle their emotions properly. They don't have discipline, and they don't have the sufficient due diligence. And they make their mistakes, they sell their own futures. You have the feeling, when you see those big fat candles, big fat green candles, you have that urge to buy. When you see the big fat red candle, my God, you feel so bad. You feel the sweat on the back of your back. It's crazy. But that's actually the best time to be involved. Unfortunately, and by the way, I've seen this, so don't think that only dumb money, because people say dumb money, and I really, sometimes I don't appreciate that comment. I can tell you that I've been having a lot of smart people that made fun of me when I was buying crypto during the bear market, that came to me and they were making fun when FTX went bankrupt. And they came to me making fun of me, and they said, FTX went bankrupt. Yeah, but that was one of the best news that I got. And they said, what do you mean? Aren't you involved in crypto anymore? No, I'm very much involved in crypto. The thing is, I was looking, because we've been in the bear market at that period for 11 months and some change. So I was looking for the clear bottom signal. I was hoping that we're going to get a very clear bottom signal to know exactly when to start to get in again. And we get FTX going bankrupt. If you're wishing for a bottom signal from heaven, that's the one. If you wish for a top signal from heaven, is Ethereum ETF approved on, let's say, March 2025. That would be your gift from heavens. If you don't know where the top is, that's it. Same thing with the bottom. I mean, the only thing better than that was if Binance would have gone bankrupt. It's even more of a bottom signal. So, but that's the point. I mean, a lot of smart people that I know were making fun of me at the time. And now they're all asking me which coins to buy, where to buy, when's going to be the next sell-off. If I give you some money, will you invest it for me? All of this kind of stuff. Now, after 6 months of green candles in Bitcoin, after Bitcoin breaks their all-time high, what did I been telling you for all these months? People don't want to buy Bitcoin at 15K. They want to buy them at 50K. That's exactly what you got. But with that, guys, please let me. I think I'm going to be on my way. I would like really to thank you for being here, for dropping that like and subscribe, and for tolerating me in this suboptimal setup. Rest assured that I'm doing very well, recovering very quickly, and by the beginning of April, give it 5th, 6th, okay, let's say 7th of April, I'll be back in a full outfit, full uniform, full sudden wealth, and all of the recovery has been fully complete. But I'm in no way, shape, or form in any kind of harm's way, so don't feel bad for me or don't feel concerned for me. I hope that you guys found this live stream interesting, and it was funny to see, really. I mean, with the Fed's meeting, for those of you who've been following me, I think somebody dropped me a comment when I said, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of January. So really at the beginning of the year, I said, tune out the noise. What matters is the Fed signaling stopping QT. What did they do yesterday? Signaling stopping QT. That's it. See, know what you're looking for. Get away from all the noise. Hey, Manuel, sorry, man. I'm about to close out. But once again, guys, thank you very much for your support. Thank you, Kaza. You've been great. No worries. Chill. Think 2025 or at least late 2024, depending on how the cycle evolves. Don't stress too much. I get it. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But the more you look at the charts, the more compelled to make mistakes you become. But in any case, guys, I cannot give you financial advice. So if you want to spend all your day looking at the charts, it's also up to you. With that, guys, I'll leave you be. Thank you very much for your support. And I hope, you guys doing well. And I'll catch you in the next one.